Welcome back to another episode of Mom Life Unfiltered. I'm your host, Rachel, and I have my co-host, Rachie and Ju. And this is our first episode of 2025.
Yeah, baby.
Right? Hopefully 2025 is a little better than 2024.
It was a long year.
It was a long year, but one thing I'm thankful for of 2024 is we brought this podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got to put the past behind us and move forward and hope for the best. I know 2025 hasn't started off great for some people, especially the people in California.
Yeah.
Very.
Now in Japan with the earthquake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sending prayers out to people and just be grateful. That's really what I take from 2025 is to be more in tune with life, with your family, be intentional, and just be grateful for what you have and your health, most importantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joy and I always start a year with one word that I want to focus on for that year. And this year is grateful. Just be grateful that we have a house, we have food at the table, our kids, and we are healthy, and just be grateful for like little things, like not just like big things. And so it's the word of the year.
There's a lot to be grateful for if you really like sit down and take the time to reflect. Because last year for me, my grandpa had passed away, and I was sitting there, and one thing that came to my mind is like, you never know how much time you'll have with people, And when it comes to like being grateful, that's not something that people oftentimes think of. They're always thinking about what they have to do next, or what they don't have, or where they wish they were. And especially when it comes to the new year, everybody's focused on like, what's your New Year's resolution, and like, where are they lacking and what they want to do better. Yeah. And sometimes you should really, at the beginning of the year, sit down and just reflect on like, well, what did I accomplish in 2024? What do I have
What did I learn?
Yeah. Those are, I think just as big, of things as, what you're going to do the next year, what you intend to do. So, I think that this year for me, I want to be a little more consistent on when I start something, finishing it. Like I have a really tough time doing anything for like 28 days straight. And they say that's how you form a habit. Mm-hmm. But like I'll buy things like I bought this electric flosser, and on the package it's like do it for 28 days. And then it was something else like that I was starting to do. Oh, I got this app, and it shortens books down to 15 minutes. Like it gives you
synopsis. Like
in 15 minutes. So it's even quicker than Audible. You don't even have to like listen to the whole book. And it was like, you're making a habit after 7 days. It's like you've done a streak. And what I noticed is like I can't get past like 11 days of anything.
3 days.
No, really, maybe even 3 days. And it's like I think you got to slow down and just be intentional and make it happen. So for me, that's a goal. I'm going to be more deliberate on finishing things.
For me, I want to try and be more on time. I did good today. I know. Anyone who knows me knows I'm Lebanese, and I'm always on Lebanese Standard Time. It's just instilled in me, and I'm very busy, and I always tend to wait to the last minute to like go somewhere. And it's just the way I was raised and how I just became accustomed to. But obviously when I show up 100%. It's just getting to some place. I'm always a little bit late and they know me. So I'm trying my best to, get to places on time more. I think for me, when you were saying, reflect and just, you never know what life's going to bring you. I went through that in 2022. And since then, I can tell you, I have been more present in my conversations. I've been more present with people that mean a lot to me because, we're always busy. Like one of our first episodes, life is always going to be there. Life goes on no matter what, if you're here in the world or not. Unfortunately, that's just the truth. It's like a cycle. We just keep going and going. But I think that you do need to sometimes just pause and hit that pause button and put your phone down, put it away, and be present in the conversation. And listen to what people are saying and actually, say what you mean. Don't just, like a lot of times you have a conversation with people and it's like filler in the way. You're not really having that real deep conversation where you're like, what's wrong? Tell me, how can I help? Give them good advice, but don't tell them what to do, and just let them figure it out for themselves, where you're intentionally there as a friend, you know, or as a family member. I think it's important that we sit and have those conversations and be present, right?
Yeah, you had a wake-up call. That's
Yes.
how I feel. And I feel like
I did.
since that episode that happened to you reflected so much in me and how I see life. I know people are already like, oh my gosh, you don't stop. You're always doing things. And I'm doing even more because I feel like
You never know.
you never know. Like what I went through with you, it was just a wake up call for me too. And it's I've been wanting to spend more quality time with my family and people that matters. And like my resolution for this year is to prioritize things and people in my life.
And the word no.
Yes,
the
and
word
I'm
no.
gonna learn how to
In
say
case you
no.
forgot
Yeah.
already.
No, but it's important.
But that's a prioritizing, like
Yeah.
say no. So like we've been since Christmas, we've been as family, just as four and my parents, like we've been having really quality of time.
But I love that.
Yesterday after church, we started again the whole Star Wars and explaining and asking questions and making like little jokes so they will remember and will like, because they grow so fast. Like they grow up so fast.
And everyone says that, right? They're always like, oh my gosh, if you look at these conversations that you have with older people and you ask them, what could you change in your life? Or what do you recommend that if you could go back and turn back time, what you would do more? Number one answer, spend more time with my kids and enjoy it. So not necessarily just going out with the kids and spending time with them to say like, check, I just went and I went to Orlando and I went to Universal or Disney with my kids, or I went and watched their play recital. But while you're watching the play recital, you're sitting on your phone or you're just sitting there taping the whole thing. And, you know, be present, be there, focus, take a picture, take a quick video, but then put it down and like enjoy those little moments so that you have a valid memory in your brain. It's a picture memory because you know what? We're born naked and we die naked. That's the truth. And there's nothing that has changed since the day that mankind was born. And it's never going to change. That's just the truth. So take a minute, take 5 minutes, spend that time with your kids and reflect on what they're saying. So now, like when I take my kids to school in the morning or I pick them up, I don't even touch my phone. I turn off the music. And it's only been, 13 days into 2025, but I've been having more conversations with them in the car. And it's really refreshing because, yeah, sometimes they get on my nerves and they say stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's cute too because I didn't realize how mature they are for their age. And you start to realize, hey, like it's important to connect with them and ask them what's going on and actually have a back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
So to touch a little bit on what you were saying, how do you feel like you're going to accomplish, or what are your first steps in making what your resolution is possible? Like, what do you think that you need to do to, what did you say, what was your,
Grateful and just be more
Grateful,
intentional.
yeah.
no, what you said you were going to work on for 2025?
Oh, just like prioritize like
Say no.
people that are like really important for me and to me. And for example, we had a play date with Sophie's friends, closest friend from school. And it was just so easy. It was just so easy to have them and then see them playing and see their conversation. And I had that. My parents always, I would bring my friends to the beach house or just like, I know you guys don't do sleepover, but like my parents, so I was really close friends with their parents. And it's just like, that's like, I was thinking and laughing and having fun with them and thinking with me, there's no place I'd rather be. Like in my house, seeing my kids and my husband playing football with the kids or on a karaoke. Like this is quality of time. It doesn't mean like I had to be in Bora Bora in this bungalow to be happy. Like I told my husband, like, I want to look at these little things. Like yesterday, we went to see the Tampa Bay Titans, the tryouts. That was actually really fun, guys. And I took Tommy and I took Sophie and Joe and tell them when the guys scored what Tommy did. touchdown.
That's
I was
so
like,
cute.
yeah. And I was like, Tommy, we're cheering for the GOAT team. And he's like,
That is so cute.
it was just like, he would always remember. I would never forget him. Just like cheer. It's just like little things
moments.
that
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be big things, big deal things to enjoy.
Yeah.
Have quality of time, and that's my focus this year. Like prioritize, say no for a lot of things.
That's the problem is I feel like as a society, we always feel pressured because, we get a lot of invitations to certain things. And I think we discussed this on one of our episodes as, I don't know if we've ever aired it or if we ever posted anything, but it's very important. There's times that I just can't make things. And you guys get that, but I don't ever feel like you guys are going to take offense to it. But that's the thing. We need to learn how to say no without the explanation. Like, hey, I can't make it. Sorry. That's it. That should be enough if you know who I am. But I feel like we're always struggling and we're like, hey, I can't make it because I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. And that's just how we roll. And, life's busy. Absolutely. But we also need to say, you know what, I'm going to focus more this week, for example, on my kids. Next week, maybe I'll focus more on work.
Or even if it's just focus on yourself, like it's okay to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
Even to your kids.
I know for me, like you don't ever want to make somebody feel like they're not important or hurt their feelings or they invited you to that and then you can't make it. But then I feel like sometimes what happens is you get into this cycle of just always saying yes. And then for me, like sometimes I hate having things planned. Like some Saturday I just want to like wake up and like whatever comes my way, like do. And then sometimes because you don't say no, like you'll have like, I have to do this Saturday morning and then I have this and this. And then it makes those things seem like daunting.
Yeah.
Or then you're kind of like dreading having to do them. And I don't want when I'm going to do something for people that I care about, like it to feel dreadful or it to feel like I really don't want to be doing this. But it's not because I don't actually want to be doing that one thing. It's just because I've said, I didn't say no to other things, or I didn't say no, and now I have
You're
myself
trying to squeeze everything in.
and you just find
Becomes a
yourself
stress ball.
just doing too much all the time.
Yeah.
And as a mom, even outside of the things that you're invited to, like just being a mom is never ending, in the sense that like you're not going to get a break no matter what. So those things that you are signing up for that you might not have to, you don't have to always do everything all the time for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And I know people think like, I love chaperone. Like if I get an opportunity to be there at school, Tommy's school, Sophie's, or a field trip, I am. I know next year she's gonna be middle school. There's not gonna be none. Like there's not gonna be like
As many.
Easter breakfast come out. Like I'm missing that, and there's nothing like just to see her smile when she sees me like walking on the aisle of the school or like helping and it's just and seeing her with her friends in her environment. And Tommy decorating cupcake or just giving, this is my mom, this is my mom.
It's cute.
It goes so fast. Yes, I'm there if I can. I don't care about being busy with those kind of things, but I feel like prioritizing time with them and my family, my husband, and like people that put the effort and it's important for you, it's gonna be my huge thing this year.
Yeah, I saw an Instagram post the other day and it was very like, okay, that resonates with me. Like I can, everything they're saying, it was like, call back the people who call you.
Yes.
Make time for the people who make time for you.
Yeah.
Be there for the people who show up for you. And like, that's like, that's being very intentional. It's not being everything to everyone all the time.
Yeah.
But the people who do those
Excellent
things
point.
for you, like, whether it's your mom or your husband or whatever, like, or your friends,
Appreciate that. And
you don't have to, you might have 50 acquaintances, but is everybody showing up for you all the time? Or can you call those people, whether it's with good news or bad news or
good times, hard times.
Yeah.
All the lows, all the highs. You need people you can count on.
Yeah.
And that's the time that you realize who your true friends are and who are the ones that care about you. And I learned that too, like, with everything I went through.
Oh yeah, that's when you
and
really
maybe that's
see
why
it.
I look back and I reflect on, wow, like the people that showed up for me, I was so humbled and so emotionally just like dumbfounded. I couldn't accept it. That's how much it affected me. Because I was like like just speechless almost, like the amount of love and support and just true like caring and just, it was overwhelming. Like I think about it, makes me want to cry because it was just so much love. And I thought, oh my God, like what did I do to deserve this in such a bad time? I felt so loved and so appreciated that I want to give that back to people.
Another thing that I say that we could touch on, like, you know, just as a reflection of last year or going into the next year, was how crazy the end of the year was for all of us. I feel like I've seen you guys really since like October.
Yeah,
right?
that was insane.
It was very stressful.
And the end of the year, it's crazy how when you're always going, and I feel like just after Halloween, it's almost like you only have 8 months of the year.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the year just is like a blur.
Yeah.
You know, you have Halloween and then Thanksgiving and birthdays and Christmas and New Year's and school breaks and vacations. And it's just actually like a really crazy, hectic time. No matter how much planning you tried to do going into it.
It's like we're in survival mode.
Yeah.
It's hard because it just like crawls up on you and you have to add in all these sports events. You have to add in the homework because they cram that homework in.
Yeah.
And especially with the 2 hurricanes we went through, it's extra because they were like pushing stuff through. I
Yeah,
felt
12 days without school was no joke.
It was no joke. And we were just like homework, sports. And then you have the Thanksgiving holidays, recitals for the shows, for the presentation for Christmas. All the things are just happening. And then you as parents and as friends, you get invited to like a million Friendsgivings and Christmas parties for your office, for if, you know, something at school is going on for the teachers. You have to get the teachers' gifts to show appreciation because they do deserve it. All these things are just like boom, 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 boom. You always feel like you're just playing catch up. And then you finally take a deep breath and you're like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. So your mind's thinking, you can't go to bed at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's hectic.
It was a lot. I feel like because you just have so many people that
Obligations.
you want to see right at the end of the year. And it's like, how can you fit them all? You only have 8 weekends in November and December. And 2 of them, like for me, like I basically have a birthday for every weekend from like November to end of December. It's either
shout out to both of you. Happy happy birthday.
Yes.
My birthday girls.
And I will also touch on one more accomplishment of 2024, and that was me winning a poker.
Ooh,
I forgot about that. And
where's the trophy?
I should have brought the trophy.
We need to put a picture of the trophy.
Yes. That
Poker
I actually
baby.
have a photo, and we'll show it.
I called her, and it was the funniest thing. She texted me, she's like, I just won the poker tournament, and then I called her on FaceTime. She was walking on this trip.
Yeah. With the trophy.
With the trophies, like a big lipstick.
You gotta post that picture.
Yeah, she's like talking to me. She's like, it's like the funniest scene.
So cute.
Yeah,
Vegas Rachie.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go play in that event. I had played all week, and I didn't get to play poker like at all last year just because of having the baby. And when I went to Vegas in the summer, everybody was sick. So I went and I played. And
she's back.
I didn't do that well, like for the beginning of the week. And then the last day, it was actually my grandma's birthday. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go play for my grandma. And I went.
I love it.
And I got super low stacked. Like I thought I was going to get knocked out. And then I just
made a comeback.
And I won the whole thing.
Yay!
You know? So that was
very badass.
That was a cool thing. And I will give Byron his props because he always is like telling me I'm better than, you know, like he just always is motivating me no matter how bad I feel like I am. He always just like reassures.
But that's what you need. You know, sometimes it's nice to have someone in your corner pumping you up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think, you know, that's so cute.
Yeah. So
he's your biggest cheerleader.
He is in
this
that.
summer. I want another one.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna be intentional this year on playing more tournaments so that in the summer I can do better because that's like a fun thing.
Yeah.
You know.
It's cool. My badass Vegas poker chick.
I know.
That and lifting heavier weights.
Yes.
This girl is a beast.
I am
145?
No, 165.
165.
I actually
Sorry.
Honey, you could lift me.
No, I actually, like a month ago, I lifted 185 and he has it on his phone. but it was only like, it wasn't like as down far.
Stop saying it was only. Like,
Well,
that's an accomplishment.
It wasn't as far down as you want
lifted
it
more
to
than a
look.
lot of guys.
I don't
to
care.
look.
You still lifted it. That's the point. You
so-
attempted to do it,
Yeah.
and you actually did it.
I did.
Take pride in that.
Yes.
I
And
feel
that's
like-
another thing. That's I'm very glad you brought
Yes.
that up as women, right?
always.
Why is it so hard to take a compliment?
It's
Why
so
is
hard.
it so hard? You were working on this like a
Yes,
couple
my
weeks ago.
mother-in-law
It's
says
so
this for
hard
16
To
years.
not,
I
when
agree
somebody
with you.
compliments you, to not say like, to not like brush it off or to not agree
No.
with it. It's the
We
strangest
always-
thing.
We always play it down. And
Yeah.
I agree with you. And it's funny
Yeah.
because if like, for example, you know how we're women, if a man gives us a compliment, we automatically are like, oh my God, he's flirting with me. No, he's not. He's just giving you a compliment. Like, just take it and be like, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. And if somebody, our peer gives us a compliment, we're like, oh, stop. Like, they're just saying that to say that. No, they might actually mean it, and you might be inspiring to them. It's very hard for us to take a compliment and accept it and just be like, you know what? I am a badass.
Yeah, I've been working with you.
yeah.
Like the other day, she said something. I'm like, it was so hard for me. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
you accept.
Right?
Yes.
Because normally you want to be like, no, or you just
No,
want to be
so
like,
you're
just trying to
oh,
be
it's really not
nice.
that big of a,
Yeah.
you know.
It is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
you.
Yeah.
And we
You know
have
what?
to do that as women and
We
as
do.
moms and as role models, and because we want to instill that in your daughters or
Yeah.
even just your kids. Like
Yeah.
when somebody gives you a compliment, it's okay to own it. You're not being. I feel like growing up, or just in general, like
Stuck
when
up.
you accept it, you feel like as if you're not bragging or being like, oh yeah, I know.
No, we're not like, we're from
know?
a different generation where
Yeah.
I think too, part of it is generational. We were expected to do a lot, and it's just an expectation. So you grow up thinking that this is expected of you. So when the new generation comes along and they're not used to the women in their generation doing these things, and then someone mentions it to you like, oh my God, you did this amazing job, like blah, blah, blah. You're like, what are you talking about? You know?
But I understand what Rachel is saying, because once you have a daughter, we have, like, if my husband all day, you guys know him,
Well, that's
says
it,
something
complimenting
nice,
you.
and I have to say, like, receive it,
Yes.
receive it, and say,
Thank
be
you.
thankful, or just
Yes.
thank, because I'm her example. Like,
Yeah.
she sees that, and I want her to not
Respect.
feel the same thing I would do. Like, oh, stop it. Like, oh,
Well,
I know what you
also,
want.
when you don't accept it, or like when you brush it off, or are
Don't bring attention.
quick to explain why that's not the case, like you're not listening and you're not receiving it. If somebody says, "Hey, I really like the way your hair looks today," or "Hey, I really noticed that you made this dish, excellent this time." Like you can hear that and like receive it and be like, oh, like, yeah,
you. Okay.
I
I did
do.
this
Or,
for- yeah.
but if you're saying like, oh no, it's not that big of a deal, or oh no, it's really nothing, you're not even like hearing it because
Yes.
you're too quick to like explain
respond,
it away
yeah.
and respond. And
But it's nice because even I don't have a daughter, I do have sons, but I like that if somebody compliments me in front of my son, he's quick to hear that because I want him to appreciate A, his mother, B, his future wife, That's the point I was trying to make is we have to be willing to say, yeah, it is a little bit of a big deal because it shouldn't be expected. Like I shouldn't be expected to pick up my kids' clothes off the floor. Do I? Absolutely. I'm a mom. I'm not going to lie. My kids throw their clothes on the floor all the time. But I would love for just one time them to realize like, hey, you know what? This is not my mom's job. I'm going to pick it up without me telling them. And that's where I'm going with it is sometimes we just do things for people and we don't realize that we shouldn't. We should let them figure it out on their own. Because as women and as mothers, we do take that role on.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have to be accepting of our compliments. We don't. We just
It's
do it.
hard.
Yeah, it's funny how many women, if you like pay attention to that, how many people are never like, oh yes, like thank you. That they'll always like have an
Yeah.
excuse or a reason
Yeah.
why like they can't accept that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's hard to hear sometimes because you just are so not used to doing it that you almost don't know how to respond. So you're trained to just say
Yeah.
something because you haven't like practiced being like,
It's like the being polite is like, oh, no.
yeah. What is the word when you don't want to be too like, I don't know, like not prideful, but when you don't want to seem,
Stuck up.
yeah, but that's not the word. Like, the only thing that's coming to my mind is like full of yourself.
Cocky?
But kind of, just if someone's like, oh, you look beautiful, and you're like, oh, I know, or oh, thank, I don't know. It's like a strange space.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to reflect on specifically from last year.
I mean, for you, I think it's a lot of juggling because you have different children at different ages and you're just always trying to juggle and make everybody feel special, but also you lack time for yourself. I feel like you're always like, I don't have time for myself.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make more time for yourself.
I try. It's hard to make time for yourself because you're never going to be like alone, you know? So the time for yourself, like for me would just be like, okay, like I'm going to work out or I'm going to go get a massage or things like that. But I've been trying to be there for the people that need me more. Like, so like last year Byron was super busy. I was busy. So I didn't feel like we were doing a lot of stuff together. And I know that that's something that I enjoy. Like I'd rather be doing something with him than like for myself. Like I guess my sense of doing something for myself is doing something with him, if that makes sense. But last year I had a baby. Time. That was big.
Went to Africa.
Yeah.
Went to Africa. That was so amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was like life-changing. I recommend everybody go do that just to be like in that sense of nature. Like that was a cool thing.
You went on a cruise.
The cruise.
Everyone got sick.
No?
Wasn't it?
Kind
Did you
of.
say somebody was kind of sick?
Everybody was sick in Vegas, and on the cruise, people were like, everybody was getting over like a cold. I feel like a lot of people were sick last year, though. Like I feel like a lot of people
you
were.
Hear that?
Yeah, I feel like people were sick last year. Maybe not your family. I don't feel like your family ever gets sick.
Yeah, we don't get sick. It's really rare.
Knock on wood.
No, but towards the end of the year.
I think it's all the Brazilian food.
Yeah, but at the end of the year, you would say like, this kid's sick or that kid's sick. You know, I feel like having children,
they bring germs home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a funny story, I thought you said.
I mean, really, it was just about vacation. Yeah. You know, when we were on vacation, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. It was more like weird. We were on vacation and we have like this, I want to say timeshare, but it's not a timeshare. It's like a membership that we signed up for. And long story short, we used this timeshare to go on vacation. So we were trying to upgrade it because when we bought it weeks and not nights. So we would have to book for 7 days to go on vacation. We wanted to change that so that we could just go on a 4-day vacation and not lose the whole week. So in order to do that, we'd have to upgrade. So of course there's a kids club where we go. And we were told, oh, we'll take your kids to kids club because of course they're trying to upgrade us right now. So me and my husband are sitting there and we're listening to the guys, you know, say his sales pitch and whatever. And the lady that was working with him was like, we got this. We'll take them to kids club for you. You stay here and do this. And then after we'll book you guys a couples massage. So I'm like, great. And it's an all-inclusive resort that we've paid for and everything's supposed to be hunky-dory. So this lady takes my kids to the kids club. Everything's A-okay. We do the upgrade. They send us to go get a massage. We get to the massage. I'm just in the room where you get dressed to go in. And I get 3 phone calls on my cell phone. I'm like, hello. The guy's like, hi, everything's okay, but your son just hurt his foot and I need you to come down and pick him up from the kids club when you're done. I know you just got to the massage, so he's fine. He's sitting down. There's no tears, no crying. You can enjoy your massage, but when you're done, please come. I'm like, okay, no problem. Go do my massage. Like I double checked with my son. I spoke to him. He was fine. I get out and I'm on my way to the kids club. And the guy told me to meet him in the lobby. So I went to the lobby. He wasn't there. So I automatically assumed he must be in the kids club lobby. So then I'm getting there. I get there and, you know, my husband calls me. He's like, where are you? Because I took longer than expected since I went to the regular lobby. So I didn't realize that he was still on the phone with me. So I get there and this guy's speaking to me extremely disrespectfully and very rude. And he doesn't even work in the kids club. But I guess he got sick of waiting for me, even though he told me, go ahead and finish your massage because I had paid for this service and everything was okay. So the point of the story is he was speaking very disrespectfully to me and I was just shocked. Like he was like, oh, you neglected your kid. You left him with me for the hour. And I'm just like thinking to myself, wait a minute, you told me and I spoke to my son and he was okay. He just, you know, when you're jumping on a trampoline and you like hurt your foot because you twisted it the wrong way. My son was totally fine and wanted to go back and play, but he wouldn't let him until I came down to like verify that my son was okay, which is totally fine. So the guy was like, you neglected your child and left him with us, and you never came down to get him. He like switched the story around of what he had told me on the phone. I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, who are you to talk to me this way? I'm a customer at your hotel. This is a service you guys provide. My son was totally fine with the last time we spoke. Why are you coming at me and attacking me this way? And I was just coming from like a relaxing massage. And it's the tone and the way he spoke to me that was not cool.
Okay, yeah.
And it wasn't cool. So of course I didn't realize like my husband had to listen to this whole conversation. He bolts out of the room, comes down to the kids club, gets in the guy's face and like literally wants to attack him. And I was just like, I had to hold my husband back. I'm like, stop. Like, this is not the time or the place. This guy's just, I don't know what's up with him, but he shouldn't have been speaking to you this way. He's like, you don't talk to me, my kids, any of us this way. You're disrespectful. Sit in your place and, watch your tone, blah, 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 blah. And we had to break up the fight. And then of course my husband went back to the guy that sold us the package. He's like, this is exactly what happened. This is how he treated us. This is what he said. And, it was like embarrassing. But the part that was funny about this whole situation was now my son is afraid to tell me if anything bad happens around his dad because his dad freaked out. He's never seen my husband freak out. So my husband's the nicest guy in the world. But if you speak to like somebody he cares about disrespectfully, I don't know what just sets him off. He went crazy. So now my kids are afraid to say something in front of their dad. And it's so funny. And I just wanted to tell you guys that like it was hilarious, but it's also funny to me because they don't want to tell me anything about their day that went bad in front of their dad.
I noticed that kids get really like embarrassed or mortified
Yes,
based
they were
on like
embarrassed.
if Peyton tells me something and I'm like, well, I'm gonna blah blah blah. Like they'll be like, no. I think they get embarrassed. So now it's probably more of like they feel like that was
But
like
have you guys ever been in situations where sometimes you lose it or your spouse loses it in front of your kids over like a situation where you're at Home Depot and you're in line and something wrong and you're trying to do a return.
Like that too,
you know what I mean?
I lost
and they give you
Busch
attitude.
Gardens.
Right.
I jumped out of the so listen.
Somebody gives you an attitude.
Day of Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Busch Gardens is mobbed, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if you have the season pass, you get the preferred parking. Every time I go, they're always like, oh, the preferred lot's closed. It's full. And so still you drive up, you look for a spot or whatever, right? So first spot we find there's a spot that says you're a stroller, for a stroller. So we're going, but there's another car that's like about to pull in at the same time. Guy, lady, no kids, no stroller. So we are like, windows are like this and like Byron knows the window down, like, are you gonna go in that spot? I don't see a stroller. And the guy's like, have a nice day, have a nice day, buddy, And then the guy pulls in and like we weren't gonna parks or whatever. So then we go around and there's like a security guard or whatever, and we say, there's a guy, just so you know, he parked. He's like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. People do it all the time. So then we come back around and there's another spot that opens. But weirdly, the guy who first did that comes back out from the park
to move
and
his
then
car into
like
it?
says, do you guys want this spot? Do you guys want this spot? And we're like, no, because like we've got one the row before, but that was super weird. So then anyway, we get out of the car, we're going to walk in. Well, I had another car full of people in it. It was my sister, Diana, her boyfriend, Peyton. Like they were all in the Suburban because we all couldn't fit in the car because I had my aunt and everybody with us. So I'm like, where are you guys? Because we thought we had seen them getting a spot before we got a spot. And they're like, oh, well, there's this guy and he won't move his car, so we can't pull into the spot. So I'm like, oh, wait, hold on a minute.
Oh, no.
So I run. Diana's like, I don't know how you got here so fast. I literally was like running, like
raging.
out of
Yeah.
breath. Like, no, like.
With the car? Or?
No, like
on foot.
On foot. Because we had already parked and we were walking in the park and I was calling them to be like, where are you guys? I'm at the front. I don't see you. So then I get to the spot. Here's the spot. My sister's standing in the spot. This guy has his window down. Like, so here's the spot and you have them about to turn in and another guy like backed his car right there so that they couldn't pull in because I guess he had been trying to find a spot and he was tired of people like standing in the spot to like reserve it. So anyway, and he like won't move and I'm like, you're gonna move, blah, blah. Well, Diana's boyfriend had already like gone to look for another spot to tell the guy so that he would drive to the other spot because my sister and Diana were not gonna let him
Park there.
like take that spot. So Alejandro, to like diffuse it, went and like found a spot, and the guy was gonna go over there. But like I like lost my mind momentarily.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like when you mess with like people that I
Family.
care about,
Yes.
I almost like go into like a different mode.
Well, that's what I was trying.
Like your adrenaline just takes over, and I'm
it
like, you're
takes
gonna
over.
move, and we're gonna park here,
Yes.
and blah blah blah. And long story short, we ended up not taking that spot because my aunt's son had actually found a spot in row A closer to us.
That's hilarious.
Right? So he's like, I'm in the spot, like you can move. So we ended up leaving that spot, and that guy didn't get the spot either. And then another car ended up taking that spot, and we ended up.
It's like
So
all
it
this
was whole
adrenaline, and
but it
you're
was
like,
just like Peyton. She was like, "Mom, I never saw you like that," and like, you know,
Right,
they just were
yes.
like, "Were you really gonna like fight him?"
I know.
But-
And sometimes you have to be like really careful because you also
Yeah.
don't want your kids to think that that's okay to like, you know, go off, but sometimes you can't help it.
Oh no! I said, listen, like I'm not gonna get bullied out of a situation. Like if you're standing
yeah.
up for something and it's right, like it's okay. And I was like, listen, Peyton, like I'm strong for real.
Yeah.
And I was like making myself like sound like a badass. I wasn't like
You are about no, but you know what? You do have to protect your family. Like,
And then she
sorry.
bumped to me.
And then I bumped into Jew at Busch
made her
Gardens.
day.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was funny.
I don't know. I don't even know. Posted something and then, are you at Busch Gardens? Are you at Busch Gardens?
that's
we're
so
literally on the
cute.
yeah.
I love
on
it.
Christmas Day, it's like mobbed at Busch
Oh.
Gardens. Everybody goes to Busch
tried
Gardens.
it.
It's funny because I have an opposite story. It's usually
I gave up my
no,
spot.
it's fun. No, it's like it's funny because you guys know like I have Italian blood, so it was like,
yeah.
Italian, Brazilian,
and we were at
spicy.
Disney Spring on the 26th, and I had the blip like going that I'm going to turn, and this guy come from nowhere, opposite way. It was just one way. He came opposite way and tried to get my spot, and I was like, my turbo,
Yeah.
and I got in, and the guy rolled out his and started saying the B word and blah 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 blah, and the kids were in the car and Joe
And Jew's an aggressive driver in general.
Remember, like I was
we
going
pick her to drive places for us.
Yeah.
like I put down the window and I said, I love you too. And then zoof, and Joe's like, babe, I'm so proud of you. I was like, you're gonna throw something in his car.
That's hilarious.
And Sylvia was like, Mom, you didn't yell it back. You said I love you too.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I was like, see, I'm trying to do a
That's
better
great,
person.
actually.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Yeah.
love you
I don't
too.
have that in me.
I know.
No, me too. But I
Yeah.
was like, you know what?
I usually actually just ignore the situation. Like that's what I was doing that day. I was just ignoring the guy because I was like, I don't know what he's on or what he's thinking, but I'm good. But that took even more
yeah,
courage.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let this guy ruin my day. I was like,
Yeah.
I love you too.
Yeah,
That's
that's true
awesome.
because you know, as much as I still would probably do that every time, I don't like after feeling like somebody
Oh, my heart.
pulled me
Yes.
out of my character. Like I don't like to behave like that's not how I would
No.
normally behave. It's only like if I feel disrespected. But even still, like I don't like that anybody has that much control to make me behave in that
And that
manner,
right
you know?
there is,
That's- I don't-
if
yeah.
you go back to one of our podcasts, I was saying I wish I could control my reaction to things because that is everything. If we could only control our reaction to
you
things,
talking about having a superpower. right, or
superpower,
something?
remember?
Yeah.
My superpower would be to control my reaction because it's so hard. So I love that you did that.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I
you
was
know.
trying to control my tongue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your mother.
Right. But hey, we're moms and we got a lot on our plate, and like sometimes
We're mama bears.
Yeah, sometimes we snap.
Yeah.
You know, just like
Oh yeah.
you know, whether it's at your kids or whatever, ladies, it's okay.
It's okay.
If you have a meltdown in the aisle at the grocery store.
But I heard a lady yesterday, and she said something on those reels, and she said, and I was like, I'm gonna work on that. Like this
Yeah.
is like, it's gonna be a huge thing in
I
me.
love that you did that.
So she said, treat your kids like you treat a visitor. If your kid drop water on the couch, and you're like, are you serious, Tommy? Go clean
Yeah.
yourself. Don't drink water on the couch. Blah, blah, blah,
I have to work on that.
he always gonna be like this, tense. Like if I
Yes.
don't deliver this to my boss, I'll be tense. Or this because doing something wrong is always like that's how they grow up because
Yeah.
because it's how we act. How about if you drop water in my couch? What are you gonna say? Hey, don't worry about it. Let's just dry and it's gonna be fine. And I was thinking, I was like, it's true. Why do I treat my kids like this? Of course, after
It's hard.
we teach.
Yeah.
But there's things that is like, it's not a big deal. And I make it a
Yes.
big deal that I think of myself like, no, like, Tommy, okay, just clean it. Don't do that again. And move on.
I think for me, it's just because they keep doing things I tell them not to do, and I freak out. Like, obviously, a cup of water spilling for me wouldn't be a big deal because it's water, so it's not going to leave a stain. But if my kids take like juice towards my couch or something that I can't clean up, and I've told them so many times, multiple times, eat at this table, don't eat there, and they still go to the couch with whatever they want and they sit on the couch, then I lose my shit.
Yeah, because it's different. Like if you have a guest and they do something and it's accidental, it's
Yes.
very much different than
But that's-
if you have rules in your house and your kid deliberately like doesn't
I'm saying
listen
when it's
to
not
you.
a big deal.
Yeah,
when
when
it's
it's not a
like,
big
why
deal.
did I
Just
scream? It's
basically-
not a big
Yeah,
deal.
but I like that saying,
Yeah.
like try not to, attack. I always attack my kids. I have to work on that.
Control your responses
Yes.
to things is a
Even Sophie said I'm yelling less.
and that matters to
It
them.
does.
That really does.
They feel more
the
loved.
tone
Yeah.
that you
Yes.
talk to them. Just think about it in general. Like if somebody says something to you, it can totally change your day. If somebody starts off and they say something and you perceive it as them attacking you, or you just are taking
Right.
it as an insult, like that can shape your day. It can shape your future interactions with them. It just really has a big influence on how you feel. And I don't know how this brought this to my mind of wanting to talk about, but when it comes to kids this year, Christmas was super hard for me, right? In the sense of the expectations that your kids have when it comes to getting things.
Yes.
And at first I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get them a lot. I'm going to get this, and this because they already have everything. And I really want them to like give stuff back because it comes to a point where it's like the whole idea of Christmas has changed to like when I think of Christmas, I think of being younger and getting together with my family and the dinner that you have and the traditions that you do, like whether it's cookie making or watching the same movie or seeing your favorite cousins or things like that. But for me, what I don't think about is like what I got on Christmas. You're never going to remember what you get for Christmas. And so this year I was saying to the kids, like, I wanted it to be more of like I was having my sister and my aunt or, getting together with friends on the day of or just whatever. I wanted it to be about those things. And so I was like, I'm only going to get these 3 things. But even just getting 3 things, it's very hard now to buy your kids, especially your older kids, maybe not the kids that are like below 8, but if your kids are 8 and up,
It's extremely difficult.
it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And then now, especially because things are electronic based or video game based,
Yeah.
the things that you're buying might not even be like physical. It may be you give them
Digital
a
gift
phone
card.
and they want a gift card to buy stuff, or they want an Amazon gift card to order
Other
things on.
things.
It's not, you're not going to have a bunch of things that you can buy and wrap and present them with.
Yeah.
And I got bigger gifts for my kids, like TV, bike. So you might have only got 3 things.
but they're bigger gifts with
But
more monetary
even-
value.
Even with that, like I feel like
It's never enough.
It's never enough. Like, and I don't like that. So that makes me want to get you even less
Less.
because it doesn't matter if I get you 50 things or 3 things or what the monetary value.
You don't see and feel the joy on their faces like you did when we were growing up or even when they were younger.
So I loved when you had said last week when I talked to you, because this is along the same line, and you did something also for Christmas, is like the experience. You were like, we did an experience with them, whatever it was, or you're going to start doing experiences because
It builds a family memory. It instills that feeling of, a memory and just being grateful.
But I was
With-
saying
with-
this, I just mostly because I want you guys to also talk about it, but for our listeners and people and moms and just families in general, like, is that what's happening to everybody? Is everybody in that same space where
Yeah.
they're feeling like Christmas and a lot of holidays nowadays is just how much can you get people to consume and buy? And I really hate that space.
Yeah.
I
I feel like for me it's harder because my both kids' birthday is so close to Christmas, so they get what they really want on their birthday, and then when it's time to Christmas, they don't really make a list. So I don't know which one I call. I was like, I'm having anxiety because I feel like I don't have enough for Sophie. I was like, she never made a list. She didn't even say what she wants. She asked her dad for stocks. So she asked an amount of,
And she wanted a dog.
and she wanted a dog. She's not getting it anytime soon. So we talked about, I got her some stuff, and she kept saying, I prefer to go skiing. I prefer to go on experience. Like, she wanted to go to the hot air balloon in Africa. We did that. And for this trip this year, she wanted, like, all those things. And I was like, she's not going to remember that she got this and that. Like, I remember the year she got a hoverboard and this extension for it to be a go-kart and this, like, and I was like, she doesn't even remember those things. Like, I prefer to give them something that's they're gonna remember forever. So we were talking about it, and she actually every morning, Joe takes her to school. She looks her stocks. Joe has her account, and they know when it's up, when it's down. And I feel like Tommy, it's easy because anything he's 5. But I feel like going on, I think we should focus more in experiences than material things.
But even if you can't do experiences, because also, like, we're coming from a very fortunate place that we're all in situations where we can afford situations. Like, we can afford vacations, we can afford presents, we can afford experiences. And I'm like talking to like everybody, no matter what your situation, how to make Christmas and holidays and birthdays and just any event, I feel like that we're obligated to celebrate, especially like US, not always making it about like what you're getting, or where, even when you're going, like, even say you don't go anywhere for Christmas and you literally stayed home. Like this year I don't know who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody at our company party, and they were saying on Christmas Eve, we always play games. So I was like, you know what? Instead of being worried about the kids not having stuff on Christmas or as many presents, I went and I got a few board games, and we played board games after Christmas Eve dinner.
Yeah,
and it was like
so fun.
It was a lot of fun. And they'll remember the games that you played, everybody, and who won and who lost. And like, it was just fun, just the competition in it.
We did a lot of cooking together. Like, the kids loved it when Joe took the time and having them like cracking the eggs and doing this. If he made hot chocolate and like all those things, I feel like, and that's how I remember. Because in Brazil, Christmas is during summer, so we are at the pool, at the beach. So for me, it was like, we really didn't care about the present. It was more like playing with the cousins outside.
Did you have time
like
off?
the time, So I love that. But here's being winter, like, you have to be more creative. Like, let's watch a movie, let's game nights or karaoke nights or whatever.
I mean, I think a lot of this starts at home with your traditions too. So, for example, if you're religious, Christmas is about Christ. It's the first first letters within Christmas.
Yeah, but even if you're super religious,
but even if you're not religious,
are like gifts.
No, but even if you're not super religious and you're celebrating the holidays, for example, you have to make time. I mean, the holidays in general, who do you spend it with? Mostly family. And if you don't have family here, then it's your friends who have become family. That's just the way the holidays are. And, gifts now, like you said, the older the children are, it's very hard to get their attention and have them be happy with what you get them. And if you do give them gifts, even the little ones, I feel like after a few weeks, they're like, okay, done. Like, next. It's just the society we live in. When we used to be younger, there wasn't as many toys either. Like, I remember everyone fighting for that one toy, like the Cabbage Patch Kid or the pogo stick or whatever it was at the time. People would wait in line outside of Best Buy for Nintendo for like days. They would sleep overnight for Boxing Day. Do you remember? They would wait outside for that one toy to get their kid. And that was it. You would take home that toy and that was the toy that you got your kid, and you were happy and they were ecstatic. But now it's like with Amazon and all the things that are just available, it's instant gratification. It's also instant boredom because they play with it for the couple of days and then they're like, oh, I'm done. Like, and you're just like, I just bought you this thing. So it takes the gratification away. So I like what you said, because I do buy kids my board games and I sit with them and I play with them and they're excited because they want to beat their mom or dad or their sibling, and we take note. I've also trying now to teach them how to play card games because I think it's cool. Not poker, but just different little card games. And I buy them like an art set, which I know you give Sophie stuff like to make art all the time. Just little things like that help them to be more creative. And I'm trying now also, I forgot to mention this, to limit their time on the internet, because that is a huge thing that distracts them from being present in the moment. Because I'll say their name 10 times and it's like white noise, like nothing. Hello, nothing. And I just don't get a response, and it gets me frustrated because I lose my cool. Like, hey, snap out of it.
Even not even just with your kids, with your friend, with your husband. If you're
they're always on the phone.
Vivian, what she loves more than biking?
Right now, magnet tiles.
Oh, I love those.
Bike, like Vivian wants to do anything outside, but her new thing I've noticed is
I'm saying that
great,
because
before, she loves the bike. She will be on her bike.
Yeah, Tommy's with the scooter.
Yeah,
so and Sophie's rollerblading. So now it's like you want to make them happy instead of like let's watch a movie. It's like okay, let's go outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they go running to put their helmets and get the scooter, had the rollerblade, and I think it's because one. We don't have our phones with us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's Joe helping Tommy, me
We're
helping
outdoors.
Sophie. We're like giving them fully attention.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to do more of that.
Yeah, they love that because think about it. When you're like Peyton was wanting to spend time with me and I was like, you know what, I'll spend time with you, but I don't want us spending time. No, I don't want to spend time with you. It doesn't have to be us going to do something.
Right.
Like I was like,
you could just be at home.
I said we could go outside for a walk. I said we could I was just like naming a bunch of things that we could do together. And she kept saying, no, I just want to go see the movie Sonic. And I said, Peyton, if you think about it, if we go to the movies together to see Sonic, yes, we're together on the car ride there. And yes, we're together at the movies, but we're sitting in the dark, not talking to each other.
Yeah.
So you're not like, to me, if you really want to spend time, I want to spend time talking, finding out what's going on with you, you talking to me, like engaging.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes with her or just with kids in general, like they interpret, love and attention with what they're getting. And that's like wrong or what they're doing.
And that right
there. And so I want to be intentional on just like changing that to, hey, I'll sit outside with you at the table and like we'll talk about goals. We'll talk about like things that are going on with you. And you'll remember that conversation with me far longer than you will going to a movie. And I feel like just because the way things are like with, let's say, your older kids, your other kids, you can have totally different or like shape it. Like just because it doesn't have to be like all or nothing, like, oh, it's, iPads and electronics. So like, that's just the way it is. And you just give up on changing it. Like, no, you as parents, especially while they're in your household, like you have the control to like really change what your experiences are with them, before they're out of the house. And, whether it starts with limiting their screen time or not giving them screen time or like you said, going out on bike rides, like as moms or as parents, we do still have, control, even though it feels like we don't really.
Oh,
we do.
We do.
Yeah. Sophie, every time she's like, can we watch something? But I don't want to see on your phone. Can you really watch something with me?
Yeah.
Like,
and if they're saying that
hurts,
yeah,
that hurts. I was
know.
like, okay, let's do it. Or
that's how she feels if she's saying that.
Yeah.
And if part of like being a good mom and being present is like listening when your kids tell you stuff because they're kids. So it takes a lot for them to even say that to you.
Yeah.
So they're saying it because that's how they really feel. And what shows somebody more, nothing shows somebody more about caring for them than
time. Giving them time.
When they say something to you, you doing it.
Yeah.
Like really doing it. Putting your phone down and not doing it for 3 minutes and then picking it up when she's not paying attention.
Right.
Like just not doing
it's
it.
huge.
Well, I think that was all good stuff. And I hope that our very patient listeners that hadn't heard from us in, I don't know.
Crazy end of the year.
It's been a crazy end of the year. Crazy time. We've been busy.
We are going to be more intentional.
Yes.
And I'm going to follow through with things. So we're going to do more consistent podcasts. We're going to get more content out for you on Spotify and on YouTube, even stories. Like that's something I want to do this year for
Reels.
Our podcast to see how we can grow it. We had a very good start last year.
Good numbers.
We want to have great guests on this year too. Mm-hmm. Interesting guests that bring a lot to the community, bring a lot to women, and have a great forefront because these are all women that are inspiring and that have made it in life, and that will bring to you guys incredible stories and just different knowledge. And I hope to share my story with you guys soon as well. Yeah. I've been holding out because I've been running a few tests here and there, and I didn't want to speak on it until I was ready. Mm-hmm. And I had those results.
And I'm gonna learn how to say no.
How do you say no in Brazilian, in
Now.
Portuguese? No. Love it.
I think that's a common. Is that the word for? I mean, in most
Yes.
languages, no
Yeah.
is no,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, in Arabic, no is la. Actually, it's a funny thing because all my Arabic listeners that are listening, well, the way we say no is, just. It's
Like
a really
Really?
funny thing. Yeah, you just go.
That's even easier than
There
saying
you go,
no.
Rach, you're half Lebanese now, just like. With the face, with the
See?
facial expression, you got to be like, yeah.
All right. Thanks for
All right.
listening. Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys.
bye, bitches.
Bye
Bye, bitches.